AP Radio 105.7.
Action Power TV, the way of salvation.
You're listening to AP Radio.
Action Power TV, the way of salvation.
AP Radio 105.7.
You're listening to AP Radio.
Action Power TV, the way of salvation.
AP Radio 105.7. You're listening to AP Radio.
Action Power TV, the way of salvation.
AP Radio 105.7.
AP Radio 105.7.
Action Power TV, the way of salvation.
AP Radio 105.7. You're listening to AP Radio.
AP Radio 105.7.
Action Power TV, the way of salvation.
You're listening to AP Radio. AP Radio 105.7.
This program is sponsored by Kino Computers and Ella Rain Vesture.
Abusuami mamu nyina mu adwo anwumre eba APTV and AP Radio 105.7 kasafidie so anwumre samu ayaboaboa no de asisi ye mayi moni amawodo so edika editie na mede bremo so nyunu dwo kase bo yan sabno de ebedi mu akotene bi eni Yaman de akoto dwase Tamale Air Force Base wano enche Ombenya Cyber and Electronic Warfare Center betumi abo asrafo Agyemang no. Sanso na agenda 111 project abanda dano na kofa ba ye no yera kwachiofo so ese wono mo antumi anwie mu bia no wo na ebehwe edi sika akohye makomako dumu amanatimi aye adwuma. Sanso na sese de ye mampani se World Bank and IMF wonyina ehu oman Ghana se ye tumi gina ye na so pa we sika sebe koba ne sa banda dana breso wo mo kire se enema ankoyi no Asemo a yese yakoso e wo US mine mo se awo anu odene pa ebo ewo ho na enam so ma yese de o mo se nipa be du nso 17 na atwa nanom ewo nse do dodo no aka ye ho ani aboabo no se no nsia bremu kase bo APTV ni AP radio mede ebremo ensem ni nyina ya aboa no akogu news.apmediagh.com sanso na Facebook and YouTube ye APTVGH TikTok, Instagram, and X and Tintin no AP Media_GH. Ejumadi nyina betumi edwani ade akire. Medin ene boss lady Afia Kyem Agyemang. Action Power Faith Ministries of Penny Dr. Kuku Dazi Ephraim. Then churchere enkwaje kwan ya wode bre kwasiada no pebia no so ewo yen kasa fide so no mu no wachire yen ability to see eno an guso churchere yen no no se enipa pii ewo ho no mu a wono mo enim nyame asam enim sani ositie enim sani ne nhyehyɛ ya hodo nso so etie enkofo bi sa no wo mo ye niam abone an hom de nyame din bata ho ma nkofo bi dwen sɛ nyame na enye na emom no nyame de oye pa de ema ne ma sa oye wadwen sɛ obedi na chi no kware mu a ubetumi ehunu ne niam pa ne ne ye pa wo ye ma ne ma ebi nso so wo se wo mo efro mo so mo ya sofo na so so mo nim nyame ba bia no mo na enyina na na mu kwampa so ene papa mu enti ne nei mafo bi no mo ehunu niam pa nyame eye edema ye na Dr. Ephraim chese so pese ohunu nyame ne kese ene ne pa wo ye edema ne ma ene na watan bone esan se nyame watan bone na fei watwe ho afiri ho wotwe ho firi ho a ubehu nyame kese ne sene wo ye edema ne ma
se ye hu nyame no emfiri atitesem anase nipa dwen ye hu nyame efiri nasem emu ne subai mu ene ne hyehyeye emu nyame ye kronkron ompese obia de ne befam ene bone ho anase nipa bone fo enunti ene opese medanadi edi kire wiye pa nsempakafo pia wo mu na asiese wo mu nim nyame no wo mu nne no wo mu nsina na mu yie enunti na bone efra nipa wo mu na asiese wo mu fri nyame hono na efie nso a anka pa kire se eye nyame fie nso no nipa bone fo ahyemoma na otwetwa mo no me ka kire wo se obiara on pa kire se onim nyame bia no esese ohun se nyame etan boni enti sensempa kan ni bi firi nyame a obeka kire nipa wo mo pese wo mo ni nyame tena se o mo nyai boni eno ena be mo ohun sempa kan ni a ofiri nyame
na Dr. Ephraim Ernest hatu aso se sempakani bia chese wo beji atum ama ne bone ene ne amabone atanya mefie bia no enye nyame na frɛ no na emom ono ana aboabo nipa bia no epese wode eji ne sika na asofo binom ne sempakafo bia wo mososo ete ne ye bone mo bi ne adwamammo ene ensanom ne ene amabone bia tete sa ne nyina no wono mu ntumi enyandam ye na mu da no mo be di nipa nim de wo mo akobone mu Dr. Ephraim ena ama ye hu sese wo ye gidi ni dia no ahwe Bible nim de atoto sofo anase wo kanini wa sori mu kwan ya wona so ne yobia ne tebia wo bo eno na betumi ma ohunu ba bia wo cross and said odi wanim ba bia wo kro no eho na wo so beko
sen ha osempakani bi se adiboyefo aye nyankopon fie ma nsempakani otisa no onim nyame nyame nsuma no waboabo nipa no se odi piska nyame akwa kan nim se nyame pe nipa kronkronfo ɛno nti ɔbɛhwɛ sɛ n'akyidifoɔ nso agyae bɔne yɛ na wɔma yɛ kronkron sɛdeɛ nyame asiteɛ no nsɛmpakani bi a ɔyɛ kɔrensani ɔnom ri anaasɛ ɔpɛ mmaa biara no ɔnim nyame ɛyɛ sika nti ɛna ɔka nyamesɛm na ɔde nipa ɛkɔ hell sɛ wofa nsɛmpakani a ɔte saa sɛ ɔyɛ nyame ako a wo nso so wonnim nyame woyɛ obi a wontumi hunu nsonsoreɛ a ɛda papa ne bɔne ntam na wonnim hwee sɛ wobɛtumi akenkan bible paa hunu sɛdeɛ nyame nko asiti a anka womfa bɛrima a ɔnnim nyame wɔ baabiara sɛ ɔyɛ nyame akoa.
Action Power Faith Ministries of Openi Dr. Kukudazi Ephraim. Nigeria nkwaje kwai emu binodo sibisubiom ukwadra ene fiada enyumredo so ewo yenkasa fidie 105.7 so nti ya no wajebre etie nkwaje ensem ne bi yento so monra ye mampani nsemo His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wode ne chemupo bi akoto dwa ewo Tamale Air Force Base dwumadi a wobedi ewo ho Bema camp dwumadi e course na asrafo ewo ebebremu atoye nyina kan bo mudu dwumadi bi ahyehye so ene mampani chese ye freba bi cyber and electronic warfare center anasa warfare center owa besi bi ewo Tamale Air Force Base ho na etumi aboa madwumadi a wo mudu akoso nkankan ye border no a esese wo mutumi ehwema bambo ho nsam emia ewo ho no na eba ne nkita hudie nsam so be mia mu pa ewo sa warfare center yi ebeboa ama wodomo a ekọ womo a eba ewo mayete fido fam ye border na ewo ho no ebetumi ahwese obia emfa ne mabone bi wremu na ne mabone bi so mfiri ha enkwa manhodro so ne nkofo asemi emma ebeba behihim ye bambo anase asumdwe ye kura na wo mayimu ye mampani se sa chimupo ni titenti ene wo beye sanchiche ye bia nso wono ankasa waka to se o my Ghana yourself okuo no obehwe de yakade ne niam bi ehia wo madomomo eni ti sanchiche ye no na de wo beye wotamale ho no ni nyina no ehyemu bie.
Plans are also well advanced to procure armored personnel carriers, strategic drones, and advanced communication systems to establish Ghana's first state-of-the-art cyber and electronic warfare center in the northern sector. As I announced earlier, we're going to set up a cyber and electronic warfare center at the Tamale Air Force Base. And this center will be responsible for maintaining surveillance of our borders and also will have an assault capacity in the event that our country comes under any attack.
Mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama enono yako edom kuma no afam mechere NPP amanyuko no a dom kuma bando Daniel no nyamfo Alexander afenyo marking ese ye mampani ene wo mu edidi na chendi sifa yo madwen se wo mu de Yera Mahama ebekọ emprensa so ewo mampani di brani mu a enyade a wo bo epene de biada wo mutimu se NPP amanyuko no epese anase NDC amanyuko no epese wo mu nya kwan kitu e bi eda mamrani mu a owo betumi ede wo mo nsem afa esan se wo mo hwemu pa no a wokọ yenseni bia hodo no a kame ese NDC fo esesa ajaje fo pinu a ede hyemu a enche ye bia wode enso ekọ ya so wo mo im mo hwe mo dwumadi ase NPP fo so mo ho no mo hu se sani wosi sesa ajaje fo ede ekọ Supreme Court ni ade no wo mo pese wo mo de bibi kọ ho wo mo de kọ ho nso a esan se wo masesa ajaje fo pia kọ ho nti wo mbenya bi amana mata wo mo chi na no no mo de wo mani akọ akosi se ye mampani pese wo pre-term de a wontum na sanse dom kuma ne so mo dom na besi fo mpa anya de a wo be pene ne apene ochena.
You know that 2026 budget is a chop-chop budget. We know that 2026 budget is a chop-chop budget. We are going to open our eye and scrutinize every contract, every document that goes to PPA. The minority will follow it and bring motions. And we hereby also plead with Mr. Speaker that he is doing Ghana's work and is doing the work for the growth of democracy. We are aware Mr. Speaker is an NDC leading member, but where he sits, he is to protect both of us. We have been frustrated by numerous dismissal of our motions. Questions are delayed. Questions are declined. Issues that must be allowed to be debated on the House floor, we see subtle culture of silence being introduced, and procedural roadblocks are used to deny us opportunity. But we want to pray, Mr. Speaker, most humbly, that he should prioritize substance over form. That is a rule of equity. He should prioritize prudence over procedure and allow debate to flow. We will not sit idly by and allow the majority to use their numbers to deny us our duty in ensuring that there is proper oversight. Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by promising that we will not renege on our fundamental duties to the Constitution. We will fight for the people of Ghana. And in doing so, we will not be obstructive. We will scrutinize, hold government to account, ensure that just as we did in 2025, where we brought up issues to the limelight, we're going to repeat same. And this time around, we are going to do so even as we are done with all our internal elections, that we now have a leader, and we are going to do so with a firm determination and assurance.
Honorable Alexander Kwame na afenyo marking dom kumano wamobano dani enono ya watchere se NDC yamanyuko na ye womadwen se wamobeko emprensa so wamude ye mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama nyade ya wamobepene isansenye sane ya mamra no etie ye koni partner ye mo ensem.
This segment is brought to you by King's Home Studios.
Agenda 111 ehe jumedi abanda dano ne de baye se wobesisi ayasabia ewo mensi ahodo mu netumi aboa wapomude ensem motemamufo abrabom ne senti wo hyase ne 111 hospitals ene wotumi ehyase na ehunu yiye se abanda dano abre ebeso no ye mampani dada na nado dankwa akufo ado hyase biebia no ne makomako be miensa ede kone nan so de wotumi commission ye nanu NDC for ba ye no o ma be kire mu se de commission ye ni nyina na akade bia ni mu a o mo de be hye adwuma nti dan na pe na no o ma si awia pentie de niam abobabo ho si ye kwakwa nhumam wo ho na atimi ahyase so se na wo mo bo wo ye Rafael Squacho for so assess su biom se sa asem o be kan ye no kure se abandada no wo ntumi anwie bibia no commission ye ne senti wo ma yi projects na makoma kodu 10 ene de asi ho asese de wo ma twa sika potene de ama no mo be hwe asiesie mu sika be 100 million cedis ena bai ne di kohye mo kire se de ye mampani dada bia no no na akade bia ngum no wo mo de kototo sa equipments na begum asiesie mu kama ma na tumi aye adwuma boa de hye sa hospitals 10 ya wo mo koso ba bia wo bia no etimi aboa de hye wo ho wo mo se agenda 111 abandada no e de tumi kadodo wo mo abagia tum se na ye bibi pade na so so wo manto mo bo anya nhihye ya yensisin ye efa ne sikasam ene kwan be fa so ebegine nti wo mo abai de wo mo nkasa abandada ne hye ase nti wo mo nkɔ ho wo mo akasa ekɔ ho ama me no kasa projects 10 ene wo mo kɔhwɛ se betumi aye adwuma.
Not going to be able to scramble $2 billion or whatever. I think at the last instance we need about $1.5 billion to complete it, and therefore it is obvious that finding that kind of money at this time will be difficult. So we have to do it in phases. Okay. So this year, money has been set aside in the budget to complete 10 of them. And then as we go forward, more and more will be brought on stream. That is a more sustainable way of addressing it, rather than spreading ourselves thin and looking for money where it does not exist and purporting to completing all of them at the same time when we are clearly unable to do so. But that is a lesson in how not to govern, how not to make lofty promises when you know clearly that you do not have the means to carry it out. But we have learned lessons, and therefore whatever we do, we plan it carefully and then are able to realize the resources required to be able to execute it.
Rafael's kwache ofosu eya bino enkinta hudi for osaso customer for the maye mampeni His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Doctor ya osedu chum kane so afo anu ohye oman yiwo masua ensam so ene waso obetu franka de ama NPP amanyuku nti wokro no a na me ya adoma memende beba so mo no woka ho bi di ho aprapre ya na wokyere se ewo ensowe twro mu enkanka ene BEC nsohwe no ewo na abreso anu yeso afo hwe mo masua ensam so no ehihye wodi gu akwan mu boa ma po ne yese questions ye leak ni ade ni nyina so teye ehihye a woso wodi egu akwan mu no Oman Ghana Regency ahodo pii anya questions ye da so ni say different questions ono a origin enu onya region bi questions no ebi o se etumi bo aye ma leakages no etumi eba form san so en wo mode serial numbers so eye adwuma ebi wo ho no mo a na obi questions ye obenya eni ofoforo de enye pe anase question bi a ewo number 1 no wobekọ obi foforo de na ejina number 20 ni ade eni nti wobeka say number 1 B number 2 C ni ade no wo see obi di yo enti muntumi enwia ewo ensohwe twere bia ho eno ne yewura yi kire say etumi bua ye manwiamu no so teye ebi enso no opese nkoye ade ba ko bi say no no abofra omo nyina ate examination center ba ko we questions nko we so de nkwanya say we akodi 1 na we de akodi 5 obi a de nko na enso no wantumi anya sika emfiri aso ya na ehwe sika samso afa amu enu nti ena ta na hyehye entumi amamu ni nyina no enkoba ne say yewura ise mu masua de osumi manager na so pa ye moto aba no You
know that examination leakages stopped when I was the minister for BEC.
But I didn't stop for WASI.
And I'll tell you why.
Okay, tell me.
You see, what did we do in BEC that we didn't do with WASI? What we did with BEC was that it was a Ghanaian exam. So I directed that we are going to have separate questions for different regions of Ghana. Okay. That was the first. So when questions leak, and you think you have the question in your voter region, it may be Ashanti region questions. So it's not useless. Okay. So the moment we did that year, all the websites where they were selling questions shut down. Okay. Because it was useless. Then the following year, we were able to do it up to the level where different examination centers have different arrangement of questions. It's called serialization. What that meant was that if you were at Kokrobite, DA School Examination Center, what was happening was that your question 1 is the question 20 of Ododio or of Laboni. So what is it? What was happening was that at that point, examination leakages on BEC was ceased. Over. Okay. Then we came to WASI. WASI is administered by as a consortium of all the countries. So I had a meeting with West African education ministers, and we all came to that conclusion that we have to serialize. Okay. Now, the WAEC was willing to do serialization, but they told us that it's going to cost them a lot of money. And in fact, WAEC was even going to do something, we're going to do something that would have prevented cheating within the examination room. How was it going to work? What was going to happen is that within the exams room, different students will have different questions. Okay. Printed that way. So they asked us to buy for them printing equipment that will enable them to print different questions for different students.
Doctor, I was said to can swafa no show masua soa ene was so person 2 franc adema NPP amanyuko nti wo prebie de wo yede boa ensohwe twero ya umbetimi amanwie mu afiri mu no eno no wo kirekire mu yenko bechem Technical Institute Mpanimfo a wo ho e kire se sukuu no wo hia kade bebre no ankanka ene adesua dan classrooms de esuapa e wo ho eboa ma adesua ne ade kire ntimi nkoso adesuafo abobo apeso na kyerkyerefo nso kwa class ba ko nipa bebre ene womu ne ba na sa no ana ma ade kire no kɔ form sa so na adesua no so wo muntumi ensua ne yie ani ti akyerkyerefo a wo bechem technical institute no ene wo mkoto asra ban aso ye hwe enwomasua ensam so so mo betumi abebo bia fei Ghana TVET fo so wo mo ehwe so no wo so ba ho ansa no dwuma dodo no an wo mo kire ti ekoba ne se akade a mo de besua de classrooms no so a na amansa no dwuma no sua no so aye den de ama adesuafo na wo ho no ne senti ene wo mo sra ban ne se wo mo ye wo mo moa no wo mo sanka classrooms ni bi ne niam bi a ebetumi aboa wo mo e wo mo adwuma wo mo ye se sukuu bi anim
mpanyinfo wana wo kan bia wo mu o mampanyin na nananom o ya yere ho pa de boko class na lecturer de no ana one classroom pe no nkofo be 330 bogu classroom a wo sua mathematics na mi bisa de ebia yin na ya ko school dey inti se nkofo 130 ogu class na ana 330 ogu class na lecturer wa de a lecturer on math a obi mo je nyina ho book kita wo nsem na wo twera. As a teacher, what will you feel? Homponko, Yakuwa, one dormitory, baby, baby, even more guard crown, or ya roho. Insu Tompa, what time what troubles in Yinara? In cinema, obi more than Yasi. A dime back what they classroom, what they stores, what they be. Enti, and I'm new, can say. Eba, but one day, mattress, I will for what was the there. One farmer, Nanka, at least one medadon. What one in about the matters or the former, and Mofra, what poor class, what cocoa dado, I won't fufum. A bra or war, and a more boninara at it to say, I will empathy me. Minuka simple. See if I friend if you are a janay of a janay. Sukun po your mom didn't pony and be a bisaho because I found on your baby on Naya. Young cat if you want them. A grind pot on the bobo ya.
Minuka say. School ha, your vice principal administration, your vice principal academic, your HODs. School la all your 10 courses. Chede, as if you look do a school and on school, into my yes right there, abandon Brambo boy hen, betchem hin on Brambo. Schooling, what chede, the me Afia ye me when you fee educia. Ah, or chede 60 years, say, or your pa, and call up an ahum gym, and you baby at that. Classroom say ba you baby ada classroom say ba sa on na yazi 10 courses into form 1 to form 3 yes then na ye akacha for you baby there was school ha akacha for nda ha school ha sa bofra yer mma say opedo okwa hospital kra na o che de oyede ne yanku abofra ba na onye no kɔ so yesu mu so today no oyede abofra no onye no kɔ nti ebesre yene tinabia wa hade obia tumo he ne dan kakra aha nti teachers nyi ndai tinabia wa
ha adwen pass bechem technical institute wo hwese ne akyerkyerefo no si kasa na asem no enkoyie saa so na adesuafo no so de wo de tato so de wo akyerkyerefo ka no saa na te wo mo na efa haw ne mu wo mo hwe ba bia wo mo de da pa senkese se yenya dormitories ayese mema de ne ma de ne atumi boa no da bi o esanse wo mo ni binti wo mo nyina afutufra wo mo aka bomu we da ha we nso so da ha ya de wo mo sra ban no se wo meboa wo mo na yensisi dormitories bi ma wo mo na fei ba bia wo mo be yo mo hu yi agyanan bia ene bia ya wo mo be dware so empanifo emesi bi ma wo mo
Bechem Technical Institute. If you see about from 1 days, they be a chapter do first one you try 7.5. Almost for SRC and DEX. By a beer school, ya baby a name cran punkuya, or better not say job fighting for chair. So next you tell me it's like the new now. Ya baha hire baby a be more the brand almost show and then tata so my tata sunti. A hana ye be more better. Yes, school if you see about from 1 day, 7 or from 3. Ye new uniform, I buy my uniform. Uniform, I buy the buy air out from city vet. Then look, I pay for 150 Ghana. And some more day my ye new shiva. I buy the baby by just a baby kakra, that's one son or more dear my ye new she. ya toilet ya kosu sisi ada no wo ni nkwakwa nta uti aso a ebu nti eni baabia unya baabi ntina ya kwa class and so ta ejire ye park wa one side ni ejina one side nso ni toti ansa ni yatima hihya ye ho ye ni practicals me ba from 1 days electrical so mu ka say ye practicals fee free by ayi bia ye twa practicals ye be practicals asa ejire student na asa gigiska esa de ye practicals so school ma nti ye sla ban paying for say sisi abebi ayedru meme watedia akaka na mi wie nti no omwo ye school na ye school ye ni hwe ye ble ya ble bi dan ne ho kra be ko na esisi fom enhans na so ye si health yi ye school mo bi ya le ahomache a ye ni ka ye de ye ko eje school kwa na de ye ho hihye akile ye ni ska kra ejile ya sap to do ntubwa ye de bua wo mu obi amwa ye o school mu ha obi ya le ahomache akron even cry security a ebo school no ba ye ni bi ye si o security o mu che o muka na so ebo 10 na no mu nyina akoda akron for ba ni ye bre no mo chi ya so sekan ni etru amu ye tru mikania ni na ngulam ene bi nyoma etuto ebi musu ni edo mu tru mika ye sla ban se sa nyoma
I be Kyem Technical Institute bia ye gina ye be bia ye dware ha ni dware ye kwa class ha ni dware ba ye hwe bia ya aha nse ba bia ye dware okwa other schools na hwe a bia we aha nse ba bia ye dware ti sra ban se o meboa ye na ye na ba bi pa ni dware ye sra ba betimi esua de pacho e betimi de ha obi abre betimi de ha bi abre pa I see cry be yare pa ye do mo ko hospital ni ada omo check omo say malaria na ade I just said last week in a cry you could will be cry inside there no na ba could be cry by inside one so you start buying the chimpe for say the straw mama o me yemwa e bi edware na enye ene nyoma ekeka ka.
Hi, here is Kyem Technical Institute, and then here's our bathhouse. Here we bath, and then if you're looking at it, it's not well arranged. And then here I take my bath this morning. Seeing the place is not good. And then with this structure or with this structure, some places like this give us infections. Looking at these places, such places like this give us infections when we reach the health center, because there are some sicknesses. Last time I went to the hospital, and then they even said the sickness are having itches down here, and they said this such sicknesses come from the bathhouse where it's not well hygienic. So that's one of our challenge, and then we are appealing for the authorities to come to our help and help us with such things like this, our bathhouse, and then our dormitories. If you go to our dormitories, this our trunks, they are packed outside, and then there are not enough dormitory for us to sleep.
Kyem Technical Institute and one how to journal share and phony and etwa one way to me on Facebook no so one way to be share your casafoni no so no dia nyakra send edition for near church for a canon womb and inti assessor as ye sha womasua and some so any penny for able to me about naya coho and ye was be chemu can pursue be who commence be home and it's a bank catch penny be or ho rashibe jani be or ho munya keka or ho no muntimi mo school yi na say ye city vet ye be na kwaso ne de ese say Kyem Technical Institute so wo mutumi enya dododo de bi ewo mu na school no timi ekonenim ye twa ye ho na age aboafo nkrato ye ba ye kodwade mu ensem.
no kwasam se adwumasua ya ade a se wonsaka obi antumi njem free wonsam enonti enei se wopese wotu kwan kwa amanone ana otena oman Ghana mu eye adwumanya sika gu botom de a mekanfo St Augustine Heavy Machine Training Center de amount call na onfa na wotwemienu pe enchiro Caterpillar piloda ene forklifter ebo no ewo fom kra ye wo Kumasi Askwa ye ne Askwa police station no ene dinhwe ne mu ye sanso ben Askwa Children's Hospital tafua Akoko Space Junction wa ubetumi afre St. Augustine Navy Machine Training Center 0243860810 St. Augustine Heavy Machine Training Center. We are your last stop.
Hello there. I welcome you to Kino Computers, your one-stop shop with the perfect tech solution. At Kino Computers, we give you the best deals on quality laptops, phones, and accessories. Whether you're looking for a high-performance laptop for work, a reliable phone for staying connected, or the latest accessories like M.2, SSD, wireless mounts, ergonomic keyboard, and USB adapters to boost your productivity, we've got you covered. We also provide expert repair services as well as nationwide delivery on all our products. Visit us at Adum on the ground floor of the Abanaba Plaza near the Relish Health Shop for unbeatable prices and exceptional service. For more information, call us on 0248 137672. 0248 137672. Kino Computers, beyond your expectations.
Introducing the Smiling Shark Outdoor Solar Camping Light, a new modern way of lighting up your world. It's a powerful portable lamp with 2 modes of brightness, a strobe light as well as a flashlight. You can power it through solar charging or Type-C charging. With a built-in high-capacity lithium battery, you can also use it as a power bank to charge up your mobile phone through USB. To purchase one, contact 055 051 5323 or 053 520 3534. This segment is brought to you by Tizo Aluwex.
Abaphobia almost saw your same APTV, NEAP Radio 105.7 Kasafidi so enono. Na ye call Jadiemo and Samoa, ye man penny His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Was to say the my Ghana World Bank NFA IMF for a when they say the mushroom kukra was shasani wo chesa banda dano e my economy won some jigu ye na by for yi ba ye afimu anie o metumi ama ye gina ye na so no World Bank for boy abaso sanso na IMF for so e boy abaso ye man penny say ye bibremu ama hodo kra do wo mo de wo mo sa church Ghana so se mo hwese ne Ghana for wɔn si agyina wɔn nan so wɔn hwɛ sɛ deɛ Ghana atoto wɔn nneɛma yie nti ese ekura wɔn nyinaa esua sɛnea aban wɔ edi nhyehyɛ egu akwam na Ghana ese gyina ne nan so biem yɛ ma mpanin kyerɛ sɛ wɔn ahyɛ ama yɛ economy no asan so akɔ n'anim yie paa wɔn hwɛ anim sɛ nipa asetena mu bɛtɔ akɔ so akɔ n'anim ɛwɔ mfie mmiɛnsa a sese aka ɛwɔ yɛ ma mpanin anim yi.
When we came into office, the crisis that faced us was very difficult. In my own imagination, I thought that we'll need about 2 years to begin to see a turnaround. That's what I thought. But Ebenezer, this is how far God has brought us. We're all surprised and shocked at the quick turnaround. Anytime I meet the IMF officials and the World Bank officials, they themselves cannot believe, what has happened in Ghana. So Ghana has now become the poster boy, of the IMF and the World Bank. So when they go to other African countries, they say, don't you see Ghana? Look at what Ghana has done. And that's why I say, it is only the grace of God. It is only the grace of God. To bring inflation from 23.8% to 5.4% in 1 year, how did we manage that? For the first time to see our long-suffering Ghanaian currency, the cedi, that has been taking a beating over the years. Dollars have been arrested, they've broken jail, and all that. For the first time, to see the Ghanaian cedi appreciate by 37% in 1 year, it's only God. It's by His grace. The IMF gave us a primary balance of 1.5%. And 2025, our primary balance is 2%, higher than the IMF gave. And so, God has been good to us. And as a nation, we must be grateful to Him. Because if we express gratitude to Him, He will bless us more. And I believe that with the Thanksgiving we're giving to God, and this year we're going to do the National Day of Thanksgiving again like we did on the Republic Day, I'm sure by the end of 2026, the whole world will stand and be clapping for Ghana.
Ghana Mampani, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama say Ghana economy no ejana na sopa na de asedano bema nyame enyame enaya ohwe ni mu se emfie kakra ka wonanimu no ewiase nyina bebo wom honsama ma oman yi won hyehye pa omode ebegu akwam ye kwa ma hodo so ensem.
This segment is brought to you by Desat Solutions.
Yeko US mining yedi kan dia tobo anim abra na ehwase boboba ema weather forecasters nom edi tutu dwase US mining mu awono ebema ne musu yie pa na esedie ahwase mama ne bone se enipa be dun son de kodun wotwemu ena wono matwa nanom nse do enam ewiemu nsacharaye anasa weather eho ensensem emu womo sese die ukọ state be duonu miensa 23 ena fe District of Columbia womo nyina declare state of emergency enam sa awa no odin omo friend winter storm fell ni ya womo chese die ha dwen yie pa enya semkuma weather forecasters no guso ha bokoko se die niama no ani ayenyan wo hwe air flight awodo no so won ma breaki ene die nyano kwasi adenu adayi won mu si ho kwan se ntumi nkwa won mu chese be 10,000 flights ni akire yi enya semkuma won mu guso a esisi bi ho ano kwan na dwo yimpo won mu asi be empem ni akire mpempem ene akire yi ekọ nanimu a omuntumi masa ewie muhye nyina ntu enam ewie hu ayeka bisi kire se wona no odin yi pa wo ho asno no so etwa hyehye bom ices nyina ma ne hom no so wo ho a wo mugusu ade ho amanebo etudwa.
Times Square under snow on Sunday night after a massive winter storm left its mark across wide swathes of the United States. Cities across the eastern half of the country were blanketed as far south as Oklahoma and Texas, where children made the most of the unfamiliar winter conditions. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., residents enjoyed a mass snowball fight on Sunday afternoon. But the big freeze brought misery to many others, with more than 11,400 flights cancelled because of the weather. Energy supplies were severely strained by the storm, with more than 1 million people being left without power on Sunday. New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani said the city had opened 10 warming centres in addition to other shelters for those in need, and he gave the city's students and school children Monday off.
There will be no in-person instruction. All after-school programs, adult education, and school-based programming has been canceled. And I know that this may disappoint some students, so if you do see me, feel free to throw a snowball at me.
Residents across the affected states are being advised to avoid going outside unless absolutely necessary. The U.S. National Weather Service says the snow and sleet will linger for several days, making surfaces dangerous to both drive and walk on.
What was said the adwire day power US mining one guswa air bohun coco. Medoka say and Kania do one and ye juma or a fembinumua, or mogusuyan she say, or move to me SCA. Yan Sabano or Hani didn't in her AC. Yabana kogunnews.apmediagh.com. In Facebook and YouTube handle near APTVGH. TikTok, Instagram, and X and AP Media _GHI Jumedi Nina, over to me Edwin near dear Chenua Hunu dear Ekro, and near Aya Joada, and until no so Dr. Kodazi Efron in church how demons operate, a beba wakwemtianwa Jirashebi, Nafe Wetiebi, Ewo, Casefidiano Eso, Bidi and a boss lady, a Afia Kyem, Agyemang, Madame Munamasia Mo, any share anything.